and welcome back to Varsity Football Live. Dick Fain with you as we preview the state semifinal matchups coming up this weekend. And at the Tacoma Dome, we will have this one for you on Saturday night at 7 o'clock between the Curtis Vikings and the Skyline Spartans. Should be an unbelievable matchup, a rematch of last year's state tournament action where Skyline got the win, and the man hoping to turn the fortunes of the Curtis Vikings and exact a little revenge on the Spartans. Clay Angle joins us here on 950 KJR. How you doing, Coach?
Well, I'm sitting here at home because school's been canceled, so we're kind of got a little extra time this week, but not the kind of time we'd like to have.
How has that affected your practice schedule this week, and what do you have prepared between now and the end of the week?
Well, number one, we were not able to get onto the field on Monday, and Tuesday we were in the gym, and we're still trying to work out the details for the next 3 days. So we're still in a state of flux, but the kids are in good spirits, and mentally they're trying to get their heads ready for a great challenge on Saturday.
I read where it's possible that you guys might be practicing at the VMAC. Is that right?
That's one of the things, but there was some confusion, and we may or may not be there. So we're still that's kind of the part of the contingency. So we might be there, or we may be in our gym, or we may be on the field, or we're looking at other indoor options around here. So. That's what I'm saying. We're up in the air.
Does the WIAA allow you to use the Tacoma Dome as a practice facility at all?
The Tacoma Dome is not always set up for the football configuration, and
okay.
I'm not sure if they'll let you be on the Tacoma Dome, so we weren't looking into that part of it.
Well, Coach, a spectacular outing last week. Really, you've done fantastic work all through these state playoffs. But let's just talk about last week's game against Auburn. You know, a team you handled in the regular season, but, I doubt that coming into this game you expected it to be a 31-0 whitewashing.
No, we had seen on video that they had improved since we played them in week 6, and so now week 12, they were a much better team than what they were the first time. So we were really mentally getting ready to go into a game that goes right down to the wire, and we were able the second half to control the ball and put a few more touchdowns on the board. But the first half we had some issues hanging onto the ball and executing in the red zone. So we took care of those second half and came through with the win.
Tyler Montague getting it done on the ground for you once again. A couple of touchdowns in the second half. You go back a couple weeks in that preliminary round, 163 yards, 3 touchdowns. Just talk about what he's meant to you guys this season.
Well, Tyler's a big surprise. He came in his senior year. He'd had junior varsity experience, and we went in with the idea we would be having a tailback by committee, and he's just, as the season's gone along, he's just gotten better and better and better. Our line blocking has been very good all year, but even better this last month, and he's taken advantage of it. He reads his blocks well, he's quick, and he hits the holes very quickly.
So you weren't really tested last week in the quarters, but in the first round you were seriously tested against Eastlake, against another KingCo opponent like you will face coming up on Saturday night in Skyline, a 21-14 win. But that one was made a little tougher than it needed to be, wasn't it? With the you had a missed field goal and a fourth down that you didn't convert on, giving you some more gray hairs, huh? Yeah,
we had 3 opportunities in the red zone that we didn't convert. And, part of that was our mistakes, but part of it's Eastlake. Eastlake's a very solid team, and they gave Skyline a challenge too. So we knew that any of the KingCo teams that you'd match up with would be a solid game, and coming away with a win against Eastlake really helped our confidence.
The thing that impresses me so much about your team, I mean, the defense notwithstanding, I mean, shutting out Auburn is spectacular last week. But your offense is so balanced and it's so versatile. I mean, you get Montague running for a couple touchdowns in the last game. He had a great game a couple weeks ago. And then, against Eastlake, it's the passing game. It's Tyler Jamison, 13 of 19, 305 yards, 3 touchdowns. Ramel Dockery with, another spectacular game with 171 yards receiving. And then on the special teams, you got Ramel back there, maybe the best pure athlete in the state of Washington back there returning kicks. It's very, very hard to stop you guys. How would how do you look at your team and know which game you're going to go to the run game, which game you're going to go to the pass game, and which is going to click?
Well, when we come out, our plan is pretty simple. We want to use our versatility. We want to run a lot of formations, and we want to do a lot of motion, and we want to see how the other team's going to adjust. And based on what they're doing, we'll then go with what we want to do to attack. And as you say, we're balanced. We have a solid offensive line. We have solid perimeter players. Our running game has been very effective. And the games, then they try to take Ramel away from us by doing something exotic with double coverage, or our other receiver, C.J. Langlo's had a super year for us. So like you say, we just try to take what the defense gives us, and our defense again has been spectacular in the last 2 months. So right now we feel pretty good about where we are.
Curtis, Coach Clay Angle joining us ahead of the game against Skyline. We talked about Ramel, Coach, and I know that he's not getting the type of big-name college looks that some kids that are 6'2", 6'3", 6'4" get, but I think anybody that picks this kid up is going to get an absolute steal, both on the offensive side of the ball and on special teams. Talk a little bit about what he brings you guys, and also talk about what type of schools are looking at Ramel Dockery.
Well, first of all, Ramel's an X factor in whatever game he plays in. He's somebody you can't account for with just schemes. He is extremely talented. If you've had the opportunity to see the things that he can do, I've never seen anything like it. So we don't even have to block sometimes for him to have a big game for us. So he gives you something that you can't drop on the board. He sets up his blocks well. He's incredibly courageous. He makes moves and spins and jumps and does things that you're not necessarily going to coach, but he pulls it off, and he's got such tremendous acceleration. He creates that separation and really can go the whole way on any play. He's getting very strong looks from Washington State, Oregon State, Hawaii. Idaho's already offered, and I know a lot of the other schools are waiting. He's been in contact with TCU, so he's going to have choices where he wants to go. And I agree with you. I think wherever he ends up, they're going to get a tremendous offensive weapon. And we don't play him a lot on defense because we have other people, and we don't want to take the chance of getting him banged up. But he could be a pretty good lockdown corner for somebody if they wanted to use him that way. So he's pretty versatile.
Let's talk about this matchup coming up Saturday against Skyline that we'll have here on 950 KJR. Last year, certainly a forgettable game for you guys in the quarterfinals against Skyline that was kind of over before it started. Maybe just talk a little bit about what went wrong in that game last year.
We came out. We were going to attack with no backs offensive set. We throw a first pass interception. They as a matter of fact, we had 2 interceptions in our first 2 passes, and they took those in for scores, and then their offense executed well, and they scored. So it was 28-0 before we even knew it. So they are a tremendous program, and last year, of course, one of the best teams I've seen in my memory. So things just didn't go our way last year, and of course, the kids have been looking forward to trying to rectify that. So that's the challenge, because the Skyline is kind of the standard bearer of the programs, the 4A programs in the state right now, and anytime you get a chance to go to compete against them, it's going to be a challenge.
Last year you had to deal with Jake Heaps to Cason Williams. This year Cason Williams is still there, but you got a new big quarterback, the sophomore Max Brown, putting up unbelievable numbers. What impresses you about him, and how do you possibly slow that passing combination down?
Well, we went up to a passing league in Skyline last spring, and we got to see them up close. And Max Brown is a tremendous quarterback. He's got a great arm strength. He does a nice job of looking off the defenders. He knows where all his receivers are, and so he is very difficult to get to because he gets rid of the ball quickly. He doesn't run as well as Jake Heaps did, but that doesn't mean he's much less effective. He's putting up great numbers. He's got very good receivers. It's more than Cason Williams and Gino Simone. They got 3-4 receivers that can catch the ball. So when they spread the field, it causes matchup problems.
Hey, before we let you go, Coach, maybe just give me a couple keys to a Curtis victory this Saturday.
I think it's going to be determined on the turnover takeover ratio. Whoever hangs on to the ball and whoever's most effective at taking it away from the other team, I think is going to be the winner.
Coach, best of luck to you. I know one thing. We're not going to get the same type of game that we did last year between you two. I think this one's going to go down to the wire. Should be a spectacular drama at the Tacoma Dome. Hey, appreciate you joining us, and good luck this weekend.
Thank you very much.
You bet. That's head coach Clay Angle joining us right here on Varsity Football Live 950 KZR.